everybody, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend and happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there in the UK who celebrate Mother's Day. To all of your children of two-legged and four-legged variety, happy Mother's Day to each one of you. Now I did have a lovely couple of days off. I took a social media and Royals detox, like I literally did nothing on the Royals at all, and it was absolutely fabulous. I have to say, I actually ended up listening to a great audiobook that came free with my Amazon Audible. This one is called The Silent Daughter by Christy Ferguson. Now this story centers around a woman who wakes up in the middle of the night. She gets locked out of her house, looks up and finds that her house is on fire and her 4 children and husband are trapped inside the house, but her oldest daughter escapes, but unfortunately 3 out of the 4 children and her husband die in the fire. So she spends the rest of the time trying to figure out who set their house on fire and who wanted to kill her and her family. Now, this was a really good book. It kept me guessing all the way until the end, and you start to build up, the past and the present kind of come together. The author did an amazing job. If you're looking for a good book that's a very fast read or a fast listen, I will have this linked in my Amazon storefront. Now, I also watched the movie The Favorite with Olivia Colman and Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone. It was an amazing cast. A really good story about these 2 women who were fighting for the attentions of Queen Anne, who was played by Olivia Colman. I believe she won an Oscar for this role. It was a really fascinating movie based upon a true story. So if you're looking for a movie to watch, The Favorite was very, very enjoyable. Now there's a new series for my friends in America that's going to be on PBS. They are reimagining Marie Antoinette, and this series is starting on March 19th. Now, I believe in the UK this came out last year on the BBC, but it's finally coming to America on PBS on March 19th. So let me know if you check out that book and if you're going to check out the movie The Favorite. But you guys, we have a lot of juicy royalty to get through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax. Grab yourself a beverage and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So we have some European royal news. It looks like there's another royal who is making his way over to America. Prince Joachim of Denmark is coming to America. The palace announced on Friday that Prince Joachim and his wife, Princess Marie, are moving to Washington, D.C. this summer. Now, the second son of Queen Marguerite is going to start a brand new job working for the Danish embassy under the Ministry of Defense starting on September 1st. There, he's going to help strengthen the defense industrial cooperation with the United States and Canada. Now, this announcement said that Prince Joachim and his family will make the move, likely meaning the couple's 2 youngest children, 13-year-old son Henrique and 11-year-old daughter Athena. Now, Joachim is also father to 2 sons, Nikolai, 23, and Felix, 20, from his previous marriage to Alexandria, Countess of Fredericksborg. But those 2 are older. They're also fashion models, have their own career. So it's less likely those 2 are going to make the move with their father. Now, Prince Joachim and his wife moved to France 4 years ago. The reason was that Prince Joachim had initiated France's highest-ranking military training course as a supplement to the prince's long-term commitment to the defense. After completing the education, both the prince and princess were associated with the Danish embassy in Paris as the defense attaché and special cultural representative. Good for him. Now, as you know, famously last year, Queen Marguerite had announced that she had stripped his 4 children of their prince and princess title, and he caused a huge stink about it. They literally had their version of Meghan and Harry. Now, the interesting thing also about Prince Joachim is he is 6th in line to the throne. He is much like Harry. He's literally the Danish counterpart of Prince Harry, kind of the spare, getting a little hurt that he's not number one, even though he has a great career and a great life. He wanted his 4 children, who are literally 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th in line to the throne, to retain a prince and princess title and his and her Royal Highness. Well, according to Queen Marguerite, they also have been trying to streamline the royal family for some time. Now, what a lot of these spoiled, pampered, privileged royals do not realize, and I'm saying this as a person who's a royalist, is that the royal family, they're really not needed. In 2023, we don't believe that royals come from God, they're divine, and we all bow down to them, and that they're special, and that they're above the rest of us, and that God ordained them to be in power to lead countries. These are not monarchs that lead countries. They all have constitutional monarchies that are being led by governments. The fact that a lot of these countries still have royalty is a novelty. I mean, I hate to say it, but let's speak the truth here. We don't need royal families, but we like them. We like their tradition. We think they do a lot of good for the economy. We think they do a lot of good for tourism and for charity, but do we really need them? No, we don't. Do we like them? We do. But these privileged people who are like way down the pecking order, when your children are like 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, wanting to have a prince and a princess title and all the trappings of royal life, it's not needed. Just like Harry and Meghan holding on to their Duke and Duchess of Sussex title while they live in Montecito, or why their children have to be styled as a prince or princess when they're never going to be working royals, and they're literally 6th and 7th in line currently, and they're going to be bumped down to probably 10th place. It's not needed, and it's unnecessary. So he cried last year saying our kids don't have their identity, they don't know who they are, but the fact is people should not get lost in their titles, especially since his 2 oldest boys are literally fashion models. Do we need to have 2 princes running down the runway? No, they're still royalty, they're still in the line of succession, they're still part of the royal family, but do we have to have the taxpayers give them money? No, we don't. So Marguerite gave them a less title. She took away the His and Her Highness styling, and instead they will now become known as His Excellency Count of Montpezat or Her Excellency Countess of Montpezat. They're still count and countesses. They still have all the trappings. They don't have any of the responsibilities. So in my opinion, it's the best of both worlds. So he did a lot of news stories crying that my children, it was taken away from them and their identity. This is the problem of giving them the titles in the first place. It never should have happened. The same thing with Archie and Lilibet. What's going to happen in 10, 15 years when Big Bro Willie becomes king and he takes the titles back? Because I think we all know it's going to happen. Now, this is not me being mean to Archie or Lilibet. I have absolutely no malice to those 2 children at all. Giving them a prince or princess title, is that really helping them? No. They don't need to be saddled with this expectation and this royal title when they're living in California and they have nothing to do with the royal family and they're not going to perform royal duties. Why are you burdening your children with this expectation of we're better than everybody because I'm a princess? You're really setting your children up for a fall. Just like Prince Joachim's children are devastated. I was a princess and I'm not a princess anymore. Oh my God, how am I going to live? It's like the same as you did yesterday. You weren't doing anything at 10 years old as a princess. I'm sorry, but that's life. You're not doing anything and you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do any royal duties, but you're setting your children up for failure. So in 10, 15 years, when William says, well, we don't need you to have these titles anymore, we're going to take them back, is it going to hurt their children? Yeah. So what was the point? They should have waited till they were 18 years of age and let them make that decision if it was still available at that time, which it probably wasn't going to be. And now we have a future Harry and Meghan's children. I guarantee those titles are going to be taken away and it's going to hurt the kids. It's really not fair that their parents did this to them. It reminds me of Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice. Again, no hate to these ladies, but did they really need those titles? No. Are they doing anything for the royal family? No. How far down are they on the pecking order? They're far down and they're going to move farther. It's a wasted title. I'm sorry. But if you look at Zara and Peter Phillips, they're just fine. They're still part of the royal family. They're in the line of succession. Everyone knows who they are, but they don't walk around with a prince or princess title. So now we have Lilibet and Archie going to be saddled with prince or princess titles. And let's be honest, we know Meghan and Harry are going to make people call them prince or princess. We know they're going to do it, guys. We know they're going to do it. So while we have Prince Joachim and his wife moving over here this summer to the United States, we actually have another royal who's leaving the United States to go back home. Now, the Swedish palace announced earlier this month that Princess Madeline of Sweden will return to her home country after living in Florida with her husband and their 3 children since 2018. Her Royal Highness Princess Madeline and her husband, Mr. Christopher O'Neill, together with their 3 children, will move to Stockholm in August of 2023. Now, they said in a statement adding that they'll relocate to Sweden indefinitely and they will reside in an apartment at Stockholm's royal stables. Now, the interesting thing about Princess Madeline's children was back in 2018, they actually had their royal titles removed. In 2019, it was announced by the Swedish palace that Princess Madeline and her older brother, Prince Carl Philip's children, all of their titles would be removed, and they would no longer be styled as their royal highnesses. Now, they're still part of the royal family. They are still in the line of succession, but they're not going to be bagged down with these royal titles. Now, back in 2019, Princess Madeline posted a statement on her Instagram saying, quote, "This change has been planned for a long time. Chris and I think it's a good thing that our children now have a greater opportunity to shape their own lives as individuals in the future." So I can guarantee you the Swedish royals and some of the Danish royals are looking over at Harry and Meghan like, what are you doing? Why are you saddling your kids with titles? You're 5th in line and you live in the States. You're not even a working royal. I could understand if Harry and Meghan were still working royals, that perhaps their children would have titles and maybe follow in their footsteps, but they're not even working royals at this point. They're so far removed. They're like Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice. They don't need titles, right? So other royal houses have definitely slimmed down the royal families, removed titles. They're just fine. But there's something about these spares, you know, Prince Joachim and Prince Harry, that they're just holding on to the royal family and all the comeuppance that they think that they deserve. I just have a feeling that Harry and Meghan aren't going to do their children any real favors, and they're going to teach them that they're better than everyone and you're a prince or princess, and then it's going to be taken away from them. And what is that going to do to their children? You know what I mean? This is something I love about Edward and Sophie and Princess Anne, is they had their children go without titles and they told them, you're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to be a normal person. Sorry, but the gravy train's ending here. And you look at them and they look like they're all well-adjusted kids, adults, parents. They're doing just fine without the royal titles. Even Crown Princess Mary of Denmark, whose husband is the future king, they have 4 children, and she has even said that some of her 4 children are probably going to have to get jobs and that they might lose their titles as well. So all these people, they're being born into a kind of an archaic system, which is the royal family. They're all adjusting to the current times where you just don't need a large monarchy in all of these countries. And, you know, the UK is the biggest one that we have out there. And that's why, you know, people like Prince Andrew are getting a little upset because they're getting cut off, because they had so many people that were sucking off of the privy purse. Queen Elizabeth, a long time ago, used to support tons and tons of people that eventually over the past decade have kind of been weaned off of the royal purse strings. You know what I mean? But Harry and Meghan are the last hanger-oners. They're hanging on for dear life, guys. They're hanging on. But I think the other royal families are like looking at them like, what are y'all doing? You're a fool, you know, you're making a fool of yourself, clinging and giving your kids these titles. But I really hope that William takes them away. I really do. And again, it's nothing against Lily and Archie. I just think it's needed. They don't need to have titles. Well, it appears that more people are starting to jump off of the Harry and Meghan support train. You have people like Fergie, who gives a very non-committal PC interview where she says, I don't know her. I don't know Meghan, but I'm sure she's lovely. She makes Harry happy. Oh, and let's talk about my friend Diana. She literally doesn't say anything real positive about Meghan. Now, I know there was a story where Fergie says something like, you know, Meghan Markle gives Harry a love that he's never experienced before, right after she just said, I don't know her. How the hell would you know, Fergie? You don't. What Fergie is doing, it's called a soundbite, clickbait, to get people to click on a story, to read about her, to go and buy her book. That's what we do here on YouTube. We get those catchy titles and those thumbnails to get you to go clickety-click onto our video. It's a soundbite. I guarantee you Fergie may not have even said that quote, because a lot of journalists will do some creative writing and say, well, Fergie said, but she really may not have said that at all. All Fergie really said was, Harry's happy, Diana would be happy, Diana's proud of her boys. Let me tell you a story about how me and Diana got arrested. She literally danced around the subject of Harry and Meghan because people in Hollywood are not going to attach themselves to a losing horse. If you're betting on someone and that horse is losing, honey, you're not going to dunk your savings on it. You're going to say, okay, nice horsey, but I'm putting my money over here on someone I think's a winner. Harry and Meghan, in my opinion, have become the new Amber Heard and Jussie Smollett. Their credibility, likability, and bankability has tanked. There's only people like Tyler Perry, Mr. Daddy Warbucks, who's probably going to throw Meghan a rom-com to star in. We all know with Netflix, they're trying to do rom-coms. I would not be surprised if Tyler Perry produced and starred in a show where Miss Markle made a guest star appearance and maybe a little producer credit on an upcoming Medea or rom-com produced and, of course, financed by Tyler Perry. But besides Daddy Warbucks, Mr. Perry, they don't really have a lot of people in their corner because their credibility has tanked, and they've backtracked on the racism story. Then they give their children titles. Now they're trying to go to the coronation, and at the same time, he's trashing the same family in a book Spare. They're crying and playing victims on their docuseries with archival footage of other people being chased by the paparazzi, and now they might release more in his upcoming paperback, all the while demanding apologies, and still might attend the coronation. So it's kind of like you're such a hypocrite, and people don't like hypocrites. They're being made fun of on SNL, South Park, even people like Oprah, who used to be 100% in the corner, gave a very blasé answer when someone said, do you think Harry and Meghan should attend the coronation? She said, they should do whatever they feel is right for their family. Meaning, I ain't attached to them and I'm not getting involved. Because we all know Oprah sat down on, the famous interview that she gave with them 2 years ago where they literally made the racist allegations. And she literally is like, they're going to do what they need to do and I wish them well. Peace out. She is not attaching herself to this couple in any shape or form. She's not saying, oh, Harry, Meghan, they're such victims. Oh, the family needs to apologize. She's like, whatever they feel's best. Good luck. Peace out. She is not saying anything. And this coming from Oprah after that interview, and now they're backtracking on that interview. So she's not hitching herself to a losing horse. You know what I mean? People aren't betting on them anymore. They're just walking away, letting the chips fall where they may, and saying, well, we wish you well from afar, but please don't call me. There's even talk that Anna Wintour isn't going to invite them to the Met Gala, that she's getting very strict and might take the Kardashians off. And do you think Harry and Meghan are definitely going to be high on the list? No. So even though Harry and Meghan would make all of the headlines at the Met Gala, they're not the right attention, and you don't want people to steal the limelight from the entire event. And Harry and Meghan would steal the limelight in a very negative way. And that's why Anna Wintour is getting rid of the Kardashians, and she's making it a different group of people. And I guarantee you, Harry and Meghan are not going to be in that group. If anything, they're going to be on the cutting room floor along with the Kardashians. So it appears that Harry and Meghan have really damaged their reputation in Hollywood. They were left out of all of the Oscar parties, even Elton John's party. Oprah is not backing them. The only person who's really publicly backing them is Tyler Perry. Everyone else is crickets. You don't hear all their old cheerleaders singing their praises anymore. People have been silent. And I think Harry and Meghan have really stepped in it. And if they keep going down this path of victimhood and attacking the royals, but then living in the titles and the privilege of royalty, they're going to lose more people. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they actually show up for the coronation and if their children come and if Charles will give them a role in the coronation. That is still up for grabs. There's a lot of back and forth, but nothing has been 100% confirmed. So we're still kind of waiting to see how all of this pans out. But you guys, that is all the royal news I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And I am working on the 3rd episode of Corinna and the King, and I hope to have it out this week. So stay tuned for that. But you guys, leave me your comments down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.